Sherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council and Blue Ridge Art Space, and I'm back again to tell you about some more cool stuff going on in the arts. You know, the arts don't ever stop. COVID-19 might have caused us all to kind of halt in our tracks and get a little shut in and have to stay put and socially isolate, or whatever the right term is for that, for being distant from one another. But we actually are still, the arts are still popping and hopping. And one of the things that I've been trying lately is to be sure that you know what's still going on in the arts, all kinds of places. And you really can't miss it. It's everywhere. But locally, I wanted you to be aware that we have some amazing local artists and they're still creating. And you may be living right next door to one or just down the street from one, and you may not even realize it. So this is a great opportunity to share that with you and to let you see some of the cool things that our artists are doing. So I put out an email and asked some of our local artists if they would be willing to try this out with me. This is a new thing. And Earl Davis, I think, was the first one to answer and said, sure, I'll try anything once. So Earl got nominated to be my guinea pig and to try it again tonight. And so Earl is in the middle of doing a video with me that is going to be broadcast over the radio as well. But what I'm really here to ask Earl about is, Earl, backing up, you are an artist, but you are also a minister. Am I correct?
That's right.
All right.
I'm in my 15th interim pastorate since I'm tried to retire.
Yeah, the first time I met him, he termed himself as an unsuccessfully retired minister. And I think that's about it. So now we see you sitting in what looks like a library, and I'm assuming
it is. These are some of my favorite friends. When I thought I was retiring, I gave away, I don't know, 3/4, 2/3 of my library, but these are old friends through the years here.
Oh, so you've not reaccumulated new books. This is just what you left behind.
Well, unfortunately, I still am.
I thought old habits die hard. I know that's not
the
totally
chagrin
true.
of my wife.
Now, over one of your shoulders here, I see paintings creeping around the corners here. Some just like yellows and greens and different colors. So this must also be your painting studio as well.
It is. Let me just take you for a virtual tour.
Oh,
this is the same room that I use for that has my theological library. But Anne, you said you wanted to see this. It's not tidy as you see, but
no, it's not.
This is where I create them. And usually, if I'm painting here, then I'm working from a photograph, and it's displayed in the bigger television screen there next to my easel here. Mm-hmm. What I have on the easel, you know, these days have been wonderful for artists in one way. While there's isolation, it gives you an opportunity to spend some quality time painting. And so what I have been doing, I love to do plein air painting, which is to paint outside. But since you can't do that here lately, it's been so wet and chilly. So my wife and I have just taken little road trips and ride through the country roads around here. Some folks may recognize this scene. If you are a trout fisherman, which I am, down the mountain in the Globe area, there is the little town of Mortimer. And you're looking at it. That's all there is left. Is that fly fishing shop with the Indian and all of that. And so I painted things like that. And right over here next to it, I just finished this today. You know, Blowing Rock is always just bustling and filled with people in cars. And I've often wanted to paint the street scene, but it's just rows of cars and bunches of people. But this is the way the main street looks these days in the midst of the pandemic. This is a couple of weeks ago, rainy, foggy day, mid-afternoon on a business day. Just nobody there these days, but it'll be different as time goes on.
Now, my question for you, are you going to name this something about the foggy pandemic day or what?
I put that up on my website just a few minutes ago, and I called it Main Street of Blowing Rock during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it looks. I wanted the tourists to know that it isn't always like you see it in the summer. Here's one day to remember.
From the tourist standpoint, this is what it would be without them, is what it basically boils down to.
It really does. It really does.
So, well, that is a really neat job. I really like that painting, even though I'm not a big fan of fog, but
There you go.
that's really cool. Now, your studio feels very creative. Between the writing end of it, where I'm sure you've written a lot of sermons and done a lot of research for your sermons and that kind of thing, and all your reading and so forth, and then the other side of the room where you've got your paintings and all the activity that happens there. And
it all works together. I'm the interim pastor out at Middle Fork Baptist Church, the next door neighbor to Tweetsy, and write a column for the Blowing Rocket there in Blowing Rock, and do the painting too. Sometimes they're all getting mixed up.
I would bet it would. I would bet it would. And the other thing is the writing, whether it's for a theological purpose or for any other purpose, is an art form unto itself. So,
definitely.
So yes. You are an artist in two different ways, So you told me you don't sing, so we'll just count you for literary and visual.
No, I'm afraid I'm not a singer for sure.
So boiling down, the pandemic time for you has been a time of, let me summarize here and you tell me if I'm wrong. It's been a time of additional creativity time, an opportunity to explore things that you haven't been able to do, maybe because you were too busy before?
Yes, exactly. That's what I've looked forward to, and I some avenues that I wanted to do some local scenes, countryside scenes, and it looks as if it might be a couple of months before I can get out there and do much of that. I found last summer painting at the Blue Ridge Overlook on the parkway right behind where we live. I was never alone.
Right.
I mean, there's always 6, 8, 10 people parked there and talking, and they buy paintings. They talk with you what they like about your painting. And, nobody ever says, golly, that's a horrible painting.
They're just too polite. Not really. Your paintings
They're
are
always so very nice.
Now, you also, I think,
Lake.
Didn't you do some painting last summer on Blowing Rock Street sides, on the sidewalks?
I did, and I enjoyed it so much. And I don't know if we're going to be able to do that again, but I sure hope so. I really like that.
I think that's fun. And then also you're tied to the Edgewood Cottage exhibit as well.
The Artist in Residence program there at Blowing Rock. I'm scheduled to be there in July, but we're not sure that program is that we're going to be able to do it.
Or so not in the format. Go ahead. What? Well, I started saying not the same format, maybe. Yeah,
If we don't, then I'm going to have a whopping big art sale on my website the whole month of July.
But it's also possible that we're all learning new things. I didn't even know what Zoom was. I thought it was something on a camera lens until this pandemic happened, and I'm learning how to use Zoom, and I'm learning how to use technology I'd never heard of before. So I think that we're going to all find newer, different, creative ways to interact with the arts as time goes on.
I think so too. Virtual galleries and that kind of thing are going to be big, I think.
Right. And we're doing virtual concerts, and we're doing virtual all kinds of things going on. And so I think that, number one, we're finding new ways to be creative, which is just stretching us just a little bit. And that's part of the good stuff.
That's good.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, also, I think that society in general is leaning on the arts to be their way of coping with all of this.
There's great value in art to cope with times like this. In fact, I wrote, I have this list of folks who've collected my art and friends, and I wrote them an email about a month ago saying, if you're staring at the walls, I really got the answer for you. You just need a good painting on that wall that you can look at and feel peaceful and all of that.
Right. And all of us have spent some time watching some television, or we've watched movies, or we've listened to music, we've looked at paintings, we've read books. We've done all these things, and all of those are creative expression that we are using as a way of entertaining ourselves, of dealing with what's going on, escaping perhaps, but these are things that we're using to deal with life.
And we all have to deal with these things, whether we think we're dealing with them or not. We
Right.
really are subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where art comes in a lot.
Well, thanks for being part of our solution. We're so proud that you're one of our local artists. Folks, he's not only a local artist, but he's also on our board of directors and very involved with the Arts Council, has helped us with many projects in the past, and I'm kind of expecting him to keep that record just moving on forward.
Oh, thank you, Chair. It's good to be with you.
We're glad to have you, and thank you for being my
you.
guinea pig and my first venture on this particular new stretch. Folks of you that are listening on the radio, if you've been wondering what we're looking at, you're going to have to go to Facebook or possibly Instagram or our website, but we will make it visible for you. But I hope you enjoyed listening to it and getting a mental image of what you think that Earl has been painting, and then go check it out and find out what he's really been painting. Check out our website, watauga-arts.org. It's a brand new website. We've been just really working on redesigning it during this shutdown period. So it's a whole different place. So go and enjoy it. There's lots of new opportunities on there, and stay in touch with our Facebook page. We keep a lot of things happening there, and also our Instagram page. And then when the time comes right, when we can all get back together safely, we want you to be sure and come back and see us again. We're at the corner of Shadowline and State Farm Roads. We are that building with the little blue people on the front porch, and please come join us. Thank you again, Earl.
Thank you, Cherry. Well said.
Thank you.
Bye now.